Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are going to fundamentally rethink our lifelong relationship with money, work, and those experiences we're always putting on hold. We'll be exploring the core concepts from Bill Perkins's absolutely thought-provoking source material, Die with Zero. Honestly, it's a complete paradigm shift about how to get the most out of your money and, well, much more importantly, out of your life. So, we all know the old fable, right? The carefree grasshopper starves while the industrious ant survives the winter. It's pitched as the ultimate lesson in delayed gratification. But really ask yourself, when does the ant ever actually get to play? Because if the ant spends his entire short little life slaving away just to store up food, what is he even surviving for? You know, society constantly conditions us to be that diligent ant. We're told to save, save, and save some more for our golden years. But delaying gratification indefinitely means you run a very real risk of missing out on the joy of living entirely. Now, yes, the grasshopper lacks future security, and that's a big problem for sure. But the ant is honestly just as flawed, endlessly saving only to die rich but completely unfulfilled. What we really need to find is that optimal balance between the two. Part 1, Money is Life Energy. It is time to rethink your paycheck. Our first major paradigm shift requires wrapping our heads around a concept called life energy. The source defines this as the finite, totally irreplaceable hours of your existence that you spend working in order to earn money. I want you to think about that for a second. Every single dollar you accumulate is a direct trade for your precious life energy, meaning money is literally the time you sacrifice to get it. There's a feeling you get once you truly grasp life energy, and this quote just hits the nail on the head. You're taking my life energy and you're giving me paper. Once you view the world through this lens, it hits you that passing away with unspent money means you spent years of your life working for absolutely free. You gave away your finite time on this earth, and you never actually cashed in that paper for living. Moving on to part 2, the memory dividend. Let's talk about investing in experiences. We are all so conditioned to invest for financial returns, right? But we completely ignore the returns we get from actually living, and that brings us to the memory dividend. When we buy an experience, we don't just get the joy of that single fleeting moment. The experience acts like a high-yield investment that pays out an ongoing, compounding enjoyment every single time you recall or share that past event. Those are your memory dividends, and they literally pay out for the rest of your life. Let's trace this out on a timeline, because the math here is just undeniable. Say you take a backpacking trip at age 25. By age 35, you're sharing stories and laughing with friends about it. At 45, you're looking at photos, feeling that warm nostalgia. And at 65, you are drawing deep life satisfaction from those rich memories. This is exactly why you have to invest in experiences early. An adventure at age 25 yields decades of memory dividends. Taking that exact same trip at age 75, well, it has a very, very short payout window. Which brings us to part 3, why die with zero? Let's dive into the core argument. The core argument behind actually dying with zero is backed up by both mathematical and emotional reasoning. Look at the staggering data from the Federal Reserve showing median net worth by age. The standard assumption is that people spend down their savings in retirement, right? But the data shows the exact opposite. People's net worth actually continues to rise well into their 70s, up to nearly $265,000. This definitively proves that people are hoarding wealth when they should be actively spending it down to enjoy whatever remaining time they have. And this endless saving makes absolutely zero sense because our spending capacity naturally drops as we age. Retirement planners basically break this down into 3 phases. First, the go-go years right after retirement. You have high energy, you're eager for active experiences and travel. Then the slow-go years, where you kind of slow down, maybe cross off bucket list items a bit more locally. Finally, the no-go years, characterized by diminished health, no desire to travel, and just staying close to home. You simply cannot spend the way you used to once you hit those no-go years. To really put this into perspective, let's look at this number, 6,646. The source material calculates that if a median earner dies with just $130,000 left in the bank, well, based on their hourly take-home pay, they have effectively wasted 6,646 hours of their life working for free. Guys, that is over 2.5 years of 50-hour work weeks. Just gone. For nothing. Think of unspent money like an extra life in a video game that you never even used before the screen went black. Leaving money behind means throwing away those extra lives instead of actually playing the game. It is the ultimate waste of your finite potential. You put in the hard work to earn those lives, and then you just walked away from the console. All right, part 4, practical solutions for overcoming the fear. Of course, the immediate pushback to this whole dying with zero idea is the primal fear of surviving to 95 and having absolutely nothing left to live on. But we can rationally overcome this fear. Step 1, use life expectancy calculators to get a realistic baseline date. Stop acting like you're going to live to 150. Step 2, stop self-insuring by hoarding these massive cash cushions that you'll likely never touch. And step 3, purchase financial products that transfer the risk of outliving your money over to professionals. This is where we can contrast two very different financial tools. So we all know life insurance. It protects your beneficiaries against the mortality risk of you dying too early. But annuities do the exact opposite. They protect you against the longevity risk of living too long. By utilizing tools like annuities, you give an insurance company a lump sum in exchange for guaranteed lifetime monthly payouts. This safely frees you up to spend your remaining wealth down to zero without the fear of ending up completely destitute. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to highlight this quote from the text. The business of life is the acquisition of memories. In the end, that's all there is. Because when you are physically frail in your twilight years, you won't retire on your bank account balance. You will retire on the vivid memories of the life you actively chose to live. So I'm going to leave you with one final urgent thought to chew on today. What irreplaceable life experiences are you currently sacrificing to your savings account? Are you going to stay on autopilot and just survive the winter like the ant? Or are you ready to start converting your money into a life truly lived? Take a look at your own timeline today and start planning those experiences before it's too late.